Hello, yeah, nice to meet you again. So in this video, we are going to see about how to implement data binding in this video. So I just have one project, just created one project with basic activity. So I created one activity and one XML here. Over here, so we have just basic layouts. First, I just going to demonstrate how the data binding will work. Before that, we will just see what is view binding and how to use view binding and what is the advantage of using view binding in this. And after that, we will go to data binding. So both are all very interesting things. You must need to learn both of things. So the thing is, what is view binding and data binding? um, let's see the view binding. And data binding is same kind of view binding, but it has some advanced feature compared to view binding. So in view binding, normal Android place, we will take this find view by id. How we will connect or how we will use the element in XML in the activity or Java class or Kotlin class. We will use by find view by id to take the element, and we get the value and we response the value to here. Okay, so but in view binding, we can avoid these things. We don't need these things. These are all extra codes, extra 10 lines of code. We don't need this code while we are using view binding. So the main purpose of using view binding is this one. It is avoid it reduce nearly 50% of the code, and you can save a lot of time, and it will be very faster and feasible. Your application view binding is very lightweight compared to data binding, but data binding have a lot of features more than view binding. So let's get into it. I'm showing, so I think you guys understand these things. This whole project, this is a very basic one, I think you must know. So I just explained view binding. So we will first, before using view binding, you have to implement or enable view binding in your Gradle class. Okay, so we have to open Gradle file, and you have to enable over here binding. Build features, view binding true. Okay, so I am first I will show you how the view binding will work. So let's sync. Actually, this is a Kotlin class, so we have to use two more dependencies for data binding. We will just implement here Kotlin Capt and Kotlin Android. We have to use it here. Okay, Kotlin Capt and Kotlin Android. Kotlin Android. So we just implement these two things also, and I am just processing it. So it's good to go. Okay, so now view binding is enabled. So now what the view binding will do, just hide this process. We'll take this. What the view binding will do, the view binding will scan all the XML layouts, and it will create one alternate Java class or binding class. It is a binding class. It's a binding Java class for each XML layout. So with the name of this binding XML file. So when we implement the view binding, so when I am searching here, okay, so my XML file name is activity underscore data binding. So the underscore next word will be taken as camel case. So activity data binding. So the binding class will end with binding. So this is a binding class. Okay, latent where. Okay, so just we just created a binding class of this one activity. Okay, activity binding. So this class, so what this class will have, this class will have all the properties of your XML layout. If you go inside and see, it will go to this XML file, because this is a XML file, but by using view binding, it will automatically, the Android Studio itself, it will generate you a binding class. So with this binding class you have to use, but before using this binding class, you can't use this set content view. You have to bind this layout to this activity binding, because we have to initialize that. Activity binding is initialize the view binding. So activity view binding dot inflate layout inflator. So we have to initialize that. Then in the set content view, we have to pass the actual root, activate dot root. So this will hold the layout. So this is the layout. So what happened, we don't need this actually, because I am showing you why. In activity binding, if you put dot, it will give all the IDs which is present inside the XML. So I have a ID of title, I have ID of name, I have ID of age, I have ID of gender text, I have ID of place text. So these things I am having. So whenever we are seeing here, you will get all those IDs. Okay, so these IDs will help you to set and get data. You don't want to use this find view by ID anymore. This is what the view button, it will create one binding file separately, okay, with all the properties inside the binding file. Okay, so with this, I am just replacing here in the name text, right? So I am using activity binding dot name text. So both are same. Let me, this toString we don't necessary, but the names check this activity binding. Okay, if I am uncommenting this and I just copy and paste it for few, and this is a age. So I have a age text. This age text is a XML property. It will directly take you to XML. Okay, this name text is, if you press Control B or Command B or Command and press or Control and press, it will directly take you to this particular source code in XML. So this is a view binding property. So gender text, these are all ID names, which whatever the ID name you given here, it will come here. Age text, text. Okay, so this one is place text. Okay, so again I am replacing these things with here. Okay, so I replaced everything. So now just see, these things are useless. We are not using any of these things. So I just commented this one. I just commented this one also. Compared to save button, we didn't add this binding for the save button. Binding dot save button. Okay, binding that save button, we just save this one. And while clicking the binding button, the button instance will be, while clicking it will be. Okay, just I am going to run this one. I'll just run this and let's see the output over here. Let's play some music. So the application is installed. You can see over here, I'm just playing. The name is equal to John, age is 25, 26, gender is male, of course, place is US. Okay, I am just saving. It is toasting. The person name is John, name is 26, and it is okay, whatever we are here. Actually we don't need these two things. This is a bigger advantage of view binding. So actually you can think like, what is a big difference because of this, but you can see when you are using a huge amount of huge big files, you will see the big difference over here. Okay, so this is not a small one, and view binding will have this advantage, but this is for this video. In upcoming video we are going to see the data binding. From the continuation of this video, I am going to say what is the difference between view binding and data binding. and what are the advantage of the data binding. So everything you must learn from the data binding school. So stay tuned, please click subscribe for my next video. The upcoming next video will be about data binding. You can find everything after releasing this week. I will be released in 2 days the next video, so please stay tuned. Thank you. Yeah, if this video is useful, please hit like and give your comments in comment section. Let me know. Thank you.